around to making that Teavanna video you've all been waiting for, and I'm sorry it took so long. Things have just been really crazy lately. Okay, I am going to make this video in 2 parts. Part 1, which is going to be this part, are going to be all the accessories I have from Teavanna. Part 2, and there may be a few things that repeat themselves. Hopefully not. I think the sugar I'm going to have in both videos, just so you get to see that, because that is a really important part to the tea. But part 2 is going to be all the actual teas themselves, so if you don't want to see the accessories, go ahead and skip to part 2. But that being said, here we go. Okay, first of all, I grew up in a family that had a lot of really nice teas. My parents love tea. I grew up north, and they were both from overseas, so I am not into like the southern sweet tea or anything like that. It's just not my cup of tea. So, that being said, I had no idea how to properly make tea when I first started living on my own, because my mom had always made the tea. That was her thing. She didn't like anybody messing with her tea sets or anything like that. So I knew they got their tea from Teavanna, but I didn't know about like proper water temperature settings and not to use regular sugar and things like that. My tea was horrible. Needless to say, I went back to Teavanna, and hubby, actually just recently, I had a different one and ended up breaking. I had just a cheap Walmart one, and that was fine, but I do like this one a lot better, and I'll tell you why. This is the Zojirushi water temperature boiler and warmer. And this is full of water, so if I seem really weak, it's got 4 liters of water right there, or in it right now, because we're having a Christmas party later, and I need it, because my parents are coming over and they do expect tea. The reason I like this one is it has the 4 temperature settings, so you can set it for the different types of tea. It also has a timer you can use, and this will keep your water at the set temp until it either runs out of water or you turn it off. We went for vacation. We were gone 2 weeks. I came home and the water was still at the exact same temperature for when we had left. I don't recommend leaving it unattended or anything like that, just because that does seem kind of unsafe, but we did on accident and it was perfectly fine. Also, one really nice thing about this one is it has an unlock button. So before you can dispense the water, you just have to hit the unlock button. For me, this is really nice because my niece has a bad habit of trying to climb up on the counters and touch things. So with this one, I don't have to worry about her tipping it over on herself or pressing a button and getting scalding water on herself. So, I love this right here. I really recommend you get one that has the temp set. Otherwise, your tea is not going to be near as good as it could be. And it will probably be really bitter, especially the white teas if you just try and use boiling water. Another thing is the tea glasses from Teavanna. We just have 2. These are 16-ounce glasses. I just like these because they're so big and nice for when I want a cup of tea. Because a cup of tea to me is big, and to Teavanna, 1 cup of tea is 16 ounces. So hubby and I, we have our little glasses and we love these. We do have a very nice tea set, or not even like, it's not super expensive. I think we got it at Walmart. But it is a nicer tea set that we use when we have guests. I am sorry about that. The cat was chewing on the computer cord and I touched her and scared her. Okay. Another thing we have, and this is definitely not a necessity, but it does make tea easier and a little bit more fun to make. It's the Teavanna Perfect Tea Maker. I will be making another video to show you exactly how this works. Basically, you put in your tea, your sugar, your hot water, you let it steep, and then you place it directly on the cup. All the tea grounds will stay up here, and all the tea will go into the cup, and you just lift it off. When you're ready to clean it, I just dump these in the trash. You can use your garbage disposal, whatever. You just wash it with warm soap and water, and it is good to go. You do have to dry it, of course, but that is it. One thing, if I don't feel like cleaning that, I do have it's called the Mesh Wonder Ball. I got mine off of Amazon. It's basically a really big tea ball. It is 3 inches of awesomeness. The reason I love this one right here is because your tea really does need a bigger tea ball. That way the tea can expand and it'll give it a much nicer flavor than the ones that are like an inch big. Because your tea really can't do anything in those. So, especially if you get the pearls from Teavanna, which are the teas that expand as they steep. One thing, which I love this thing right here for when we are traveling. It is their contour tumbler. I got this from my husband for Christmas, and I love it. We took this to the beach with us. I put the tea in there, and like 4 hours later when I opened it, I burnt my lip. It was still like 208 degrees. So this is by far the best tea tumbler I've ever had. And what makes this one really nice too is that it has the strainer right in it. So you can brew the tea right in it, take out the strainer, and have your tea right here. And it does have a lock in the cap. So you have to push this button right here before you can drink the tea. I've, tried to see if it leaks or anything like that, and it definitely does not. You can turn it completely upside down and it will be perfectly fine. I do choose to store mine in its original container just because I don't want it getting bumped around or scratched in my cabinet, so I just keep it in here. Okay, another thing I have is a matcha whisk, because I learned that a normal whisk does not do the matcha properly at all, and it'll become really lumpy. So this one right here is a special bamboo whisk, especially for matcha, which my husband loves, and I do not like at all. But that is that. The last 2 things are, 4 things, I lied. First is the German rock sugar, and it's 1 teaspoon per 8 ounces. I just keep it in a glass jar. Teavanna also sells them in the jar. And then I have all the different, temperatures and how to brew everything and all that type of jazz just taped on the back. And I love this. The reason is, you can use normal table sugar for your tea, but it does not taste the same as if you made your tea with the German rock sugar. Normal table sugar really does, it changes the taste of the tea almost, and it really does overpower it. So I definitely prefer the German rock sugar over the tea. Another thing, and I just got this yesterday, but it is a white honey, and it's just a spoon. It's in the shape of a spoon, and it's the honey that's hardened. I really like this in tea, surprisingly. I'm not normally a honey person, but this made it really nice, and you couldn't taste the honey, but it had a hint of some type of sweetness. So I love this right here. And both of these are way healthier than normal table sugar also. Okay, the last 2 things. And this I think is really, really important if you're going to be getting a lot of tea. First of all is some type of journal. And second is just a little booklet. Whenever you go to the store and buy tea, or if you order it online, they send you a new one every time, which can get kind of annoying because I have 15 right now, but different story. I put all the teas I mixed right on the front, You can see right there. And then all of the teas I have, I put a little squiggle around. That way I know what I have and stuff like that. If it's one of my favorite teas, I put a heart in it. And I do that for all my teas. That way I can look in here and see if I've got the tea before. If I have, then I look in this right here. This is just a normal, simple journal I got, I believe, Target. And I just write basically the type of tea and what I thought about it, and if I would buy it again or not. And the reason is there are some teas I do not like, and having so many teas, it really is hard to remember what I like, what I don't like, unless it's a favorite, and then I usually remember those. But this makes buying tea so much simpler. Otherwise, you can read by teas you don't like, and you can forget the ones you really did like. So I really suggest keeping some type of little journal or book somewhere of what you do and don't like. So that's just what I do. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention. I do have the Teavanna Perfect Teaspoon, which is actually, I think, 1 1/3 teaspoons, because they allow for the space in between the tea rings. And this is how they measure their tea. So if they say 1 teaspoon, they really mean 1 1/3 teaspoons, or one of their perfect teaspoons. So that is it. Part 2 will be all the teas, so make sure to watch it. Bye guys!